Simi. I love you, Baba. You're so funny. Where are you, Simi? What are you doing? Oh my god. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Spot the Aussie here, your favourite NRL fantasy coach. And before we go any further, let's have a look at last week, because guess what? It was chaotic. I had picked up my boy Jason Taumalolo for the win for a big round, and guess what? He ended up scoring 38. He played like 50 minutes, or 48 minutes apparently, which is the least amount of minutes he's played all season, and then scored his second lowest score of all time. After I had thought that he was going to be going big. This is my team here right now. So we've got Cameron McInnes, who did a good job, 70. Paul Vaughan, 44. McGuire, 48. Graham, 40. He's lost so much money now, 177k for all you guys who started with him, like me, at the start of the season. And unfortunately, Taumalolo was the buy that we all got. He might get his break-even of 62 this round. Who knows? There's a lot to say. There's a lot to do about that. But, that was a big shame. Look, 1,300 people had actually purchased him. 16 people had sold him. I don't know. But it was an all-around. Jarryd Hayne ended up scoring 42. Wow. But I didn't play him because I thought, why would I play him? Sione Mata'utia only got 25. And Valentine Holmes is unfortunately picked up for State of Origin number 2. But more or less, let's have a look at the trades I'm making this week, because this is the time of the season when you start to sell your higher price players for lower range players to their rookie price in order to trade up all your players and make sure you've got the most powerful 17 players you possibly can. And by that I mean some of the trades I've made this week. Dean Britt, I should say, who is the first time I've ever seen him. I've ended up picking him up because he's playing in the 17th man for the Melbourne Storm. He is essentially a buyout for me. He's a buyout clause. He will play this round if he does stay in the 17, and he will play round 18 effectively, because the Melbourne Storm only have buys for rounds 12 and 19. So that's why I've picked him up, because I think I can get an extra few little points out of him that I might not necessarily get out of other people. Unfortunately, I've also had to trade out Carl Lawton, who would usually be starting hooker for us because Nathan Peets is playing Origin, but unfortunately, for the one game I needed him more than ever, doesn't end up playing, so because he's injured, so that kind of sucks. So another trade I've made this week is Curtis Scott, 143,000. He's essentially a buyout for me, who's going to play this round and again round 18, and I'm pretty certain that he's going to be playing those two games because Tohu Harris is named in the centres with him in the Melbourne lineup, which tells me that they're struggling for centres. That's great news for us, bad news for anyone who owns Tohu Harris. I don't think there's that many people. And the other person I'm picking up is Jamal Fogarty, effective immediately. A sell from the Parramatta Eels down to the Titans, and he was named as the 21st man. With Kane Elgey out, I strongly believe Fogarty is going to have his opportunity that we've been long looking forward to seeing him play. And the fact that he's a sellout, but he's a winger fullback half, means he's got that dual position. And so if you've got your Cody Walkers and your Cameron Monsters, he's going to fit into our spot perfectly, which is great news for us because the Titans do end up playing around 15, and that might mean he'll also play around 16, 17, potentially 19 if Kane Elgey's going to be out for the long term, or if Fogarty surprises a few people and he looks the goods. So keep an eye out for him. He might be named to the squad last minute, so you've got to really look forward to the games this week and see what's going to happen. Fortunately for us, it's the first game, so if that's not the case, you can quickly reverse it without any effects and therefore nab him. Like I said, Valentine Holmes is out for us, which kind of sucks. There's a lot of good things going for us, but there's a lot of bad things. I would have essentially had my 17 players playing for my squad without any trades, without all those injuries in the Origin call-ups. So, all these guys are sellouts. Britt, 138. Scott, 143. Fogarty, 138. That leaves me with 500k. That's a big amount of money. That's a lot amount of money to be sitting on the sideline. Now, I'll probably reverse one of these trades and end up bringing in Corey Norman so I can have a second high-tier half. I'm not actually sure how that's going to play out just yet. There's a lot of things I'm considering, like leaving Cody Walker in my halves and hoping for the best, because 8 trades isn't a lot. And the more trades you make sideways at this point is the worst time to do it, because if I go from Munster or Walker to Norman and they end up scoring the same, there's no real upside there. Same factor is that Norman will play the same amount of games as Walker, they've got buys on the same days, but it just doesn't work out. As for Cameron Munster, again, we spoke about him a couple of weeks ago. Everyone should have been picking him up, and it seems to be the way with 10% now owning him. I think originally when we jumped him was about 6%. So a lot of people are picking up on that vibe that he's going to be a keeper for long term and essentially a must-do. For my captain this week, I'm going to be picking up Jack de Belin and, you know, vice-captaining Sam Burgess, and I will loop the two because I've only got 17 players playing, so I should be able to do that without any dramas. But the big thing for me in all this is just the simple fact that every time I captain someone, they go horrible. Like, you look at the games, Angus Crichton, I captained him after he got 84, 58 and 78, captained him, 29. They went 71, 77, 59, 69. I captained, like I said, Taumalolo, and look at his scores prior to that. 61, 98, 49. There was a 37 in there, but that's more or less the outlier rather than the mean, rather than the average. And that seems to be the trend going along with anyone who I pick. Other good news is that Tyrell has been elected to start in the second row over Kyle Turner, which is a big surprise. The only thing I'm worried about there is if eventually they get a half, and John Sutton then goes back to the second row and knocks Tyrell out. I've also sold my boy Sione Mata'utia for the simple fact that I think Leilua will score higher than Mata'utia, and I think Fuimaono will keep scoring higher than him, especially if he plays in the starting second row. So I've made a bit of a trade-off there, something that I didn't want to do because I always said Mata'utia was going to be a keeper, but it just didn't seem to work. Like, whatever it was just didn't seem to work. That's pretty much my team now. I know a lot of people are asking me what rank am I at the moment. 4,890th. If anything, we started the season really strong and we've just kind of bled away a little bit. A couple of things didn't go our way. And this season, now that we've hit the halfway mark, is all about just having fun. So if you guys want to challenge me and try to get to my rank and essentially try to bypass me, I know there's a lot of people out there who've been commenting on my videos week in, week out. There was a couple of guys in the top 100. There was a couple of guys in the top 1,000. There's even some people just out of the top 10,000. The main thing is that you're watching these videos and you're learning something each and every time, because that's the whole point of making these videos. Is not just to show you my trades, is that you can kind of pick some things up, or maybe I can give you a different way of looking at things, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm picking up Britt, Scott, and also Fogarty. So, I mean, each to their own, guys. If you have any guys around the $200,000, $300,000 mark and they're not going to be a keeper for you in the long run, and they're not going to be playing and they're not good for buys, you may as well sell them now, because this is your only opportunity. Sell them, get someone who's going to be playing the Origin games. You never know, Scott might have an absolute ball out there. Remember, this is during the Origin period, so a lot of the teams aren't going to have their strongest outfit out on the game day. So you might find that some of these guys who score quite ordinarily will score a little bit higher than what they usually do, because of the competition, or the defense isn't as tough as what it usually is. So I'll keep this video nice, short and sweet, and log off on that one. And thank you guys so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for liking. I want to talk more about the State of Origin, but let's talk about that more next week after the State of Origin. So my next video won't come out until Thursday at the earliest, or Friday. But the thing for me is that Queensland's done a huge change, and I actually really like all the changes. One of the things that I was a little bit caught off by is the fact that Game 1, there's this whole stigma of naming your team, and there's a lot of things about, you know, confidentiality and then eventually, you know, naming the team and it being a big thing, and oh my god, this guy, that guy. When the second team was named for both New South Wales and Queensland, there's nothing about it. There's no press conference. It's like a side league. It's not even that big. It's not headlines. It's, you know, it's just on the side. But I do think Queensland's definitely making the right moves. I think, for the most part, I would have liked to have seen Sam Thaiday in that team still, because I feel like you still need those old dogs in your team that are going hard. Not necessarily like your Nate Miles, because I thought he was a bit beyond it a couple of years ago before I even joined Manly, but players like Billy Slater should have been there in the first week. Holmes should have been there in the first week. Anyway, I'll leave it to you guys. Thanks so much. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I'll check you guys out shortly. Shh.